last night I sat down to read and reply to comments, and when I got to the comments about Julia and what it's like living with a Down syndrome and the word retarded, I realized that I just had too much to say, and thought maybe I'd rather make a topical vlog today on what it's like living with a Down syndrome and my view on the word retarded. So this is Julia's story. She was born in 1993 and I was 2 years old at the time. For me, living with Jules has always just been normal because I don't know any other way. I mean, I was so young. She is my sister and I've just grown up with her, and it's completely normal to me. But yeah, if you want to know a little bit more about Down syndrome, when she was born, my mom did not know that she was Down syndrome. She took her home and my dad said this child is different, and so they took her back to the hospital and the nurse diagnosed her with Down syndrome. She also had heart defects and she didn't have chambers in her heart, so she was drowning in her own blood, and at 3 months she had to have her pulmonary artery clamped, and then when they could operate she was 1 year old and they did a total reconstructive heart surgery. They gave her the chambers and it was obviously a major op. If I look back now at the pictures, I don't know how my parents went through it all. I can't imagine their struggles and the sleepless nights they must have had. But with the loads of love and the greatest support that she's received from family and friends, she just grew stronger and stronger. And from the memories that I have as a child with Julia, she was just another one of my sisters, and we had a very happy childhood, all of us together. Sadly though, years later, she started showing signs of spasticity. She had to undergo another major operation on her spinal cord. I remember this operation because now I was older, and this was absolutely horrific to see. The problem was she didn't have atlas or axis or one of those bones at the top of the vertebra. The bones were like slipping and it was crushing the spinal cord, which was causing spasticity, and in the long run it would have made it paralyzed. So it was like an immediate operation that she just had to undergo. Yeah, it was horrific to see because they drilled holes in her skull on either sides of her skull, a contraption like that went around the head like that, and then a rope with weights hanging at the end of the bed, and she would lay there and they were literally just stretching her neck out, because her skull was crushing on top of it all, the whole problem in her neck. She couldn't eat any solids. At this time she wasn't talking either. Yeah, it was a complete torture to see. My parents were always by her side and we had a lot of support from family and friends. She then had the spinal operation and it went very well. The only unfortunate thing was that she couldn't walk after that, and they said that she probably wouldn't be able to walk again. But Julia is so strong-willed and extremely stubborn, so she did lie on her back for about 5 months. She grew strength to actually lift herself up, and she tried to stand up. My mom and dad would help support her and walk with her. She grew stronger and then started walking by herself, so it's a complete miracle that she is where she is today. Some other facts maybe about Down syndromes: they have a mental age of an 8-year-old about. It differs with some Down syndromes, but it's between 6 and 8, I think. Jules is 22, but I mean she's not in that adult mind frame, so she's got a childlike mind. She still loves watching Disney Channel, and she loves Hannah Montana and all the Disney movies. She loves coloring in, so yeah, she'll always just remain very young-minded. They're also slow to grow, so you might see a Down syndrome child that's 2 or 3 years old but looks like a 1-year-old. Julia was only 4 years old when she actually began to walk. And then I don't know if this actually happens in all Down syndromes, but Jules has a cleft palate. It's like quite a high palate, and this has hindered her pronunciation on words, and so she has her own little language, but fortunately we can all understand her because we've grown up with her. It's just a bit difficult for people who are not family members or, you know, don't know her too well. Actually, I don't think that's maybe a Down syndrome thing. I've met some Down syndromes that I can understand who have the whole pronunciation. So Jules has quite a few challenges actually, but we never dwell on her challenges. She just fits in like any one of us. And yeah, what's it like living with a Down syndrome? We have learned so much through Julia, and yes, she has Down syndrome and she is a complete blessing to live with. Now, regarding the topic of the word retarded and retardation or retard, for me, I've never seen it as a shaming or a shameful word. For us, we've grown up with that word because it's a medical term. You know, when she was diagnosed with spasticity, she was becoming spastic. My mom always explained to us that, you know, she suffers retardation. To understand better, I think you need to explain further. You know, sometimes I'm a bit slow. If you tell me a joke, like it takes me a while to get because I'm just slow like that. But Julia is retarded. She is like slow and delayed, and I don't see it as a shameful word if used in context. Obviously, I think there are people who abuse the word, and that's not cool. And I mentioned it the other day in the vlog, it wasn't to cause any hurt, or it wasn't my intention, let's say, to cause any hurt. Everybody has their view, and that was my view. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and wishing you a very happy week further. Loki, you want to go to bed, my boy? To my South African viewers, Loki is the sweetest little boy, and he is up for adoption if anyone is interested. He needs to go to a very good and loving home where someone is there for him all the time. He's just like a little shadow. You are so sweet. You're